In one of the videos I uploaded recently where we discussed unlocking GitHub's secret repository for profile optimization, I mentioned a special feature called GitHub Pages, which allows us to deploy our web applications directly on GitHub for free. So in this one, let's take that one step forward and see GitHub Pages in action. Since the setup is slightly different depending on whether we have a website built with vanilla HTML, CSS and JavaScript or a web application built with the ReactJS framework, I'm going to be dividing this video into two parts. First up, we'll quickly deploy a simple vanilla website. This process is pretty straightforward and it gets done automatically after we enable the correct settings. And then we'll take a look at how to take a React.js project and have that up and running on GitHub. This requires some additional configuration by using a special npm package which is designed exclusively for this very purpose. I will obviously walk you through both of these deployments step by step when we get there, but then if you're looking for either one of them specifically, feel free to skip to the relevant demo at this point. Hi, I am Aquib and you're already watching Code with Aquib, where I share content on programming and web development. We talk about best practices, useful tools and extensions, and build some projects. In this video, we are going to take a look at how to use GitHub Pages and deploy web applications on GitHub for free. Alright, so we are on VS Code and what I have here is a pretty basic landing page built with HTML and CSS. You can also have a JavaScript file associated to this and the process will still be the same. But this landing page pretty much is this output here. So this is a very simple setup. I have one carousel up top, a couple of different sections, nothing very fancy, pretty basic HTML and CSS. I don't want to walk you through the code here because that is not the intention of the video. But again, once I publish this, you will have the repository link so you can go ahead and take a look at the code if you want to. For our demo, we are going to go ahead and jump to GitHub next. For deploying this project, the first step would be to have a repository where we have the project uploaded. So I'm going to click on the new button here and then create a new repository quickly. I'm going to choose the option that GitHub gives me here because I don't really have a name for the project, but you could create a proper repository with a proper name. Next up, we want to keep the repository public because that is the whole point of deployment, to share the link with other people. So it doesn't make sense to keep this private. Click on the button which says create repository and this will create the repository for us. Now there are a couple of options. We could follow these commands and initialize a local repository and work with it that way. But what I'm going to do is to choose an even simpler option which says uploading an existing file, which is right here. So I'm going to check that option or click on that option and this basically pulls out a file picker for us. So I'm going to go back to VS Code, open this up on my system. So right click, reveal in Finder, select the whole thing and just drag it and drop it onto GitHub. And that's it. This will take care of all the individual file uploads for us. Then commit changes. So add files via upload looks good. I'm going to click on the green button which says commit changes. Once the changes are committed, all our code is now on GitHub and now we should be able to go ahead and deploy this. Now, in order for us to be able to deploy this code, we need to head over to the repository settings. That's the last option in the menu up top, settings. I'm going to click on that. And then from the menu on the left, we need to choose this section, which is called pages right here where my cursor is right now. So it's called pages and I'm going to select that. Once we are there, it will tell you GitHub Pages is designed to host your personal projects. And then what we need to do is to just click on this drop down which says deploy from a branch. We only have main branch for now or one branch for now. So we can just click on this drop down and choose that main branch and that's it. As soon as we click on the save button now, it is going to go ahead and take care of all the deployment for us. So this is everything that we need to do for a simple vanilla website to be deployed. Just enable GitHub Pages by selecting the main branch and clicking on the save button and that's it. This will take a couple of minutes though, so this is not an immediate result. It will take up to 5 minutes or so, and then we should be able to see the link right here in this very section, and then our application should show up, or our website should show up on that link. Alright, so this took about 5 minutes for me, but once you reload the page now, you will see this extra section shows up at the top with a button which says visit site. And then you also get the URL right here, and it says your site is live at so and so URL. So I'm going to click on this button, visit site, and this will take us to the same project now deployed and running on GitHub with a valid URL. And you can then share this URL with anybody and they should be able to see your project on GitHub. The best part, every time you make any changes by committing the newer updates to your repository, it will automatically trigger a refresh, and your code or your output, the same URL, will automatically get updated with your changes. All right, and that's it. This is how we can have a vanilla website deployed on GitHub. Let's move to the React project next. All right, so we are back to VS Code for our React application deployment. And what we'll do first is to quickly create a new React application, push it to GitHub, and then deploy it. The reason I want to show you the whole process is because there are a couple of errors that happen, couple of issues that happen when we try to install or create a new React application with React 19, which is now available. So first of all, I'm going to quickly run the create React app command. So that's this command, create React app. This is how we've been building React applications forever. And then we can type the name of the application. So my app, enter. And this is going to be able to create the application for us. But this process fails at one point when it comes to installing some of the dependencies which are no longer supported by version 19. So as you can see, it says there are a couple of issues resolving dependency tree with React 19. So in order to fix this, what we need to do is to run this flag which says legacy peer dependencies. So we need to simply cd into the application. The application did get created. It is just not able to resolve some of the dependencies. So cd into the application and then run npm install with this flag which is called legacy peer dependencies. Once we type this in and hit enter, it should then be able to fix this and install all the packages. So that's done. And now we should be able to start our application. We get one more error when we start the application. So let me show you what that is once we start it. So you see this issue says can't resolve web vitals, and that is because the name of the package has now been modified. So it is now report web vitals and not web vitals, which it was before. So what we need to do for this is to go to my app.js, and I'm going to simply remove this altogether. So I'm changing this in the index.js file. If you want to keep this, you can find the newer name and then keep that instead. But I'm going to remove it altogether because I don't need it for now. So now our application is up and running, all good with it. And then just to make this our own real quick, I'm heading over to the app.js, and then I will just modify this line to made with $hearts by, and I'll just put my name there, and I will remove the link to the documentation real quick just so that the project looks a little our own. So there we go. And this is it. We have now created the application successfully. Let's go ahead and push it to GitHub next. To push it to GitHub, I already have an empty repository created. I'm just going to follow the steps here real quick, follow the commands one by one to get the application up and running. So stop the execution with Control-C, and then I'll just close everything for better visibility, back to the terminal, and then let's run the commands real quick. So the first command is git init, initialize the repository, then add all the files. So git add dot. Then we can go ahead and follow the commands or get the commands one by one. So the next one is commit. So commit. Then we need to rename the branch to main in case it is set to something else. So copy paste that. Then we'll go back, get the remote. So this will establish the connection between our local and remote repositories. And finally, we can run the push. So git push -u origin main. With this, our repository or our code should be in our repository, which is done. So now if I go back and refresh, all our code is here, which is perfect. Finally, to deploy this, what we need to do is to install a special npm package which is designed for this very purpose by the Create React App team, right? So we can go to this documentation. I link it in the comments below or the description box below. And then we can scroll all the way down till we find the section on GitHub pages. Now the steps are really simple. We need to first of all add this home page, very important. This should be in our package.json. I've copied the code from there, pasting it up top, and then we just need to change things here. So I'll change it to my username, and then the repository name goes here. Again, this is the repository name and not the app name. So in my case, the repository name is React Deploy Demo. So I'm taking that and putting that here instead. The other thing that we need to do is to go back to the documentation and then copy two more commands, which is pre-deploy and deploy. And these need to be in the scripts. So scroll down to the script section in package.json and add these two scripts there instead, right? So remove the plus, we get an extra plus here, remove that, the error is gone. And finally, we need to install an extra extension or a package, which is npm install something called gh-pages. So go back to the terminal, copy paste npm install save gh-pages. Essentially what it does is it creates a branch and then we are able to deploy it from there. Now with the extension installed, what we need to do is to run the build command. So this is available to us again in the documentation. When you scroll down, the command is npm run deploy, and what this is going to do is to run both of these scripts, right? So it will first run build and then it will create the other branch gh-pages and have that build code go over there. So all we need to do is to run this command npm run deploy, press enter, and that's it. The extension or this package takes care of everything for us, and after it's done, it gives us a published message. This tells us that the code is ready to go on GitHub pages. Once we see the publish, we can go back to GitHub, where we will automatically see some of the settings are already changed. So if you go to settings and then to GitHub pages, just like before, you will already see the branch here. And once you click the none button, you will see a new branch created already called gh-pages, which we select and then save. And that's it. Once we do this, our code should already be deploying here. How do we check that? We can go to this tab called Actions. And once we do go there, you will see it's currently deploying something. It's running a GitHub action workflow. And if you click on it, we can see more details. So let's go to deploy. And this can give us a step-by-step tracker if we want. So it is in progress. It can take a couple of minutes. And when it's done, our link will be available to us just like before. So now you'll see it is in the deploy state. It's going to go ahead, run everything one by one. And then at one point, it will give us a success message, which would indicate everything is good. Reported success, all good. Let's go back to our settings, back to pages. And now we have a link, which if I click on it, you will see our application is now deployed up and running on GitHub, all for free. And again, this is made possible with the help of this extra extension or extra package, which is created by the Create React App team, which is to say that this does not work with Witty or any other way of creating React application, and it only works if you create the React application using the Create React App, the npx Create React App package. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more content on programming and web development. Do like the video and share this with your friends so that they get to know how to deploy their projects on GitHub as well for free. If you have any questions with respect to what was discussed in the video, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Additionally, if you want me to create a video covering any specific topic in depth, do let me know about that in the comments as well, and I'll try to create a video around that topic. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, happy coding.